TGIF. It's Friday. So today we are discussing, this week we're discussing passing and passing tips, and I wrote down a couple, you can't see that at all, but a couple categories that fall into passing. So like hair, binding, packing, clothes, voice and speech, mannerisms, and face structure. So I'm just gonna go through all those basically and give you tips and things that have helped me pass, and we'll start with hair, I guess. Alright, so haircuts. So the haircut I have now is just shorten the sides and shorten the back, and then longer in the top. Usually in the winter I like to keep it longer on the top, and then when summer rolls around I get the top cut a little shorter, but so I mean, this haircut works for me because it helps my face look more slender, and then my jaw, it makes it look more defined, and that's kind of what you want if you're trying to get the more masculine look. Pretty much, I mean, hair is just hair, so even if you have long hair you could still pass. It's just whatever you want to do. Some guys look good in long hair, some guys don't. I personally like this haircut. I used to have the Bieber cut, and that didn't really work too well, but I don't know, I mean, this works for me, so I'm sticking with it, and you can just find out what works for you and whatever makes you feel good. What's next here? Okay, binding. So binding is probably one of the most liberating things. I remember when I got my first binder, and it was a life-changing experience. Whenever I saw my chest flat, I just started trying on all my shirts and everything that I owned, and it just felt so good. But the thing about binding is you want to make sure it's safe and you're not restricting your lungs or your ribs or your chest too much, because that can be bad for down the road. There are a couple binders you shouldn't use. There's some brands that are not healthy for you. I recommend Underworks. That's where I got my safer binder from. Also, don't bind when you're exercising or exerting yourself or working outside or anything like that. You want to be able to make sure you can breathe, because obviously it's restricting your chest, and you can't breathe as well as you could without anything on. Also, don't sleep in binders. That's bad. What else? That's pretty much it. I mean, whenever you get a binder, it's damn, it feels really good. So just make sure you bind safely, and don't bind for too long. I think you're not supposed to bind for more than 8 hours a day or something like that. So just be safe with that. Alright, packers are next. Packers are kind of more of an optional thing. You don't really need it to pass unless people are staring at your junk. But I mean, I have two. I have a smaller one and a bigger one, but I mean, it's just your preference, really. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, also, if you are allergic to latex, make sure you get a latex-free packer, because my first packer was latex, and I didn't know I was allergic to latex until I wore it, and for a couple days, and I started to get a rash down my inner thigh. So that wasn't fun. And you can get a packing strap to help it, just help it stay in place. Also, STP devices are stand-to-pee, which are if you don't want to if you're using a men's bathroom and then you don't want to squat down or whatever, you can just stand to pee. Those are pretty available, because I mean, even people who aren't FTM buy them just because it's easier to pee that way. So that's pretty much all that needs to be said about that area. Voice and speech is kind of oh, here we go. Well, here's a good example. Okay, my voice just raised like that, and then okay, so my voice is kind of deeper in register anyways. Even though I'm 2 months on testosterone, this was still my voice before testosterone. I just kind of have a masculine voice as it is. But when your voice raises, like it just did for me, either like swallow or like cough. So like, okay, hold on. So now my voice is like lower, as you can tell, because I coughed. And that's just what works for me. I mean, if you don't have a lower voice, I read somewhere that if you drink like warm water or something like that, it like relaxes your vocal cords and makes them a lower register. I haven't really tried that, so I can't say for sure if that works or not, but I mean, it's worth a shot. It's just water. Also speech. Guys and girls like speak like not just their voices, but like the way they enunciate things and pronounce words is different. I'm sure you can like look up information about that. I'm not really sure the science behind it, but I know, like, for example, like the letter S, women tend to say it with more of like the tip of their teeth, and then guys tend to say it with like a kind of like, okay, so like this would be a woman S, and this would be a guy S. So you can like tell the difference. It's like super like tedious, but I mean, just some tips with like speech. Like you can look up how guys talk, or like listen to guys talk or anything like that, and just pick up those kind of tips. So I mean, it's not even that big of a deal. Like you can talk whatever you want, and you like, if you're a guy, you're a guy, and if you talk how you talk, then that's how guys talk. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if you really want to be that, you know, like focused towards sounding like a guy, then you can like look up stuff about like that. But that's pretty much it for voice and speech. Mannerisms are like, they like really help when you're trying to pass. Like even if you look super feminine and you act masculine, like chances are you'll probably pass. Let me think. Tips on masculine mannerisms. Okay, so like the way guys walk, they walk with like a wider stance, and they kind of like drop their shoulder when they walk. I don't know if you like notice that, but like guys kind of walk like this, and then you know, like hands in the pockets or something like that, or like if you're sitting down, I read this somewhere, the way you sit can like give off certain vibes about like how you feel about yourself. So like if you're like sitting, like if you're sitting here and like you have like your arms in like this and your like legs are crossed, and it's like kind of like a submissive sort of position, and then I guess that kind of comes off as more feminine. But if like you like spread your legs out, you can't see my legs, but they're spread, and like if you just like spread your body out, you like seem more relaxed and more confident, and that's kind of how like guys sit. Like I don't know if you noticed, but like guys like to spread their arms out like on couches or stuff, and like or go like this, like. So I think the more you spread your body out, the more masculine you look. What else? That's kind of all I can think of about mannerisms: walking, sitting. I mean, sometimes I act feminine and it's fine, like I still pass, so if you could act however you want, and just as long as you're comfortable. You do you, boo-boo. Last topic I wrote down is face structure. There's not a lot you can do to like change your face structure because it's bone, but I know that like more masculine faces have like a strong jaw and like just like a slender looking face, just kind of like squared off. You can't really help that though, but one thing I do is I chew a lot of gum to strengthen my jaw, and if you strengthen your jaw, the muscle under it obviously grows, and then the skin on top gets stretched out over it, so that helps your face look more slender. I know there's like face exercises you can do to like minimize the excess skin on your face, or like the fat or whatever. So that's just, I guess, one way you can do that. But besides that, there's not really, like, anything you can do to change your face structure. Because like I said, it's bone and it's cartilage and all that stuff, and you can't change your bone structure unless you break something. So don't break anything, don't do that. That's a bad idea. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, your face is your face, so I'm sure you look gorgeous. Just remember that. I guess that about does it for me this week. I hope I helped you guys think of some tips for how to help you pass and how to help you feel more comfortable in your own body. Passing is not always an easy thing. Fortunately for myself, I've been able to pass almost my entire life. Ever since I've been presenting myself as a guy, I've been able to pass. I think it's just my face. Like, I don't really have a very feminine face. But anyways, so if you don't pass, don't get discouraged. There's people around you who are supportive and will help you, such as this channel. Sorry, there's sticky tack on my hand. But yeah, really, if you ever need anything, just you can comment on any of our videos, or go to Facebook and ask us questions, or go to Tumblr. We all have our own personal Tumblrs too. I'll put mine in the link below like I did last week. So yeah, if you really need anything, we're always here for you. So that's pretty much it. I will see you guys next week. I forgot one last thing. Yesterday was my best friend Nicole Barefoot's birthday, and she turned 16, so literally wherever you live, please be safe and stay off the roads. She is a maniac, and I value all your lives, so just please be safe. Please be safe.